So to continue our coverage over Spawn for Spawn Sundays, we do pick up with Spawn number 40 and Spawn number 41. Now, with that being said, this is a two-part storyline where we're going to see a tad bit more of a newer character that was just introduced in our last video known as Cygor. But at the same time, we're also going to see another character come back and try their best to get revenge against Spawn. Because Spawn technically did beat them down, like literally beat them down. And so of course they're trying to get their revenge. With that being said, when we do jump into Spawn number 40, we pick up with Spawn coming back home to his area and Spawn's territory. Now, the reason why I said Spawn territory because in the earlier parts of Spawn, Spawn claimed an area of New York as his own, saying that this area belongs to him and he'll do his best to protect all the people in this area. Except when he comes back home to his area to sit on his throne, well, this is a Spawn that's not really big on being a hero, but more trying to figure out how to solve all the different problems he has at the moment. Because right now Spawn is dealing with a lot. He has Jason Wynn, the guy who he thought got him killed 5 years ago, to only find out that Jason Wynn is working for somebody else that wanted Al to die 5 years ago. But on top of that, he's now wondering if Terry is good or bad, because at first he believed that Terry, his best friend, is still a good guy, but who's now working for Jason Wynn and not knowing why Terry is working for Jason Wynn. But then there's also Wanda, his ex-wife, who's scared of him because she watched him fight against thugs, and what he did to those thugs was very, very violent. But either way, she's now scared of him, and he's trying to figure out how to solve all these different kinds of problems that he is going through. Now, while you have Spawn sit on his throne, well, then out of nowhere, he's then ambushed by a trap that was actually set on his chair. And so as soon as Spawn sat in his chair, a few moments later, the trap goes off and now trapping Spawn to his chair and shocking him until he's completely knocked out. Now, we are not told who was behind this master plan at first, because we are seeing the minions who work for the main bad guy that is coming back to get revenge against Spawn move in and begin the process of trying to move him over to their boss's base. And they move fast. They basically say, hey, we have to get him off the chair, into a box, into a truck, and drive over to where our boss's base is at. And matter of fact, they do that in a few pages. And so just like that, Spawn has now been captured. But we jump over to Terry and Wanda. Now, when we do, they're on the phone talking to one another. And matter of fact, you have Terry and Wanda talking about the idea of trying to bring down Jason Wynn. And that is why I say that when it comes to Spawn, Spawn has no idea that Terry is on his side and both characters are trying to bring down Jason Wynn in different ways. Now, for Terry, it's more of the legal way. For Spawn, it's more of the let's go ahead and kill him and move on with our days. Either way right now, you have Terry and Wanda wondering what should be their next move. Because right now, they're very confused on how to take down Jason Wynn. But on top of that, they're wondering who Spawn is. Now, in an earlier video, Spawn did tell Wanda it was him, Al Simmons. But she did not believe him because of the way he looked. But on top of that, Al died 5 years ago, and with that being said, she does not believe in ghosts. And so when Spawn said it's me, Al Simmons, she just freaked out and ran away. And so you have Spawn right now kind of being part of their conversation by saying, hey, you know what? Wanda and Terry need to figure out who in the world Spawn truly is, but at the same time, they're still thinking about how to take down Jason Wynn. We then jump over to a small town that's honestly in the middle of nowhere, but we do see the guys of the small town going into the forest, and the reason why, because they're going hunting. Now, it's not like them going hunting for deers or rabbits, none of that. They're actually going to the forest to hunt down a creature, and the reason why, because they keep finding dead bodies left and right. Now, these dead bodies are not humans, they're animals. It's just the way the dead bodies have been left behind that's causing a lot of concerns. And so that is why you have these guys going into the forest to see what in the world is going on. Now, when they do go inside the forest, they are thinking they're going to find Bigfoot. Instead, what they find is Cygor. And we saw Cygor at the end of our last video. And when it comes to Cygor was another military experiment. See, when it comes to Cygor, he was made by the military to give a gorilla cybernetic body parts. But on top of that, they wanted to modify the brain, where the brain is actually 80% human and 20% gorilla. Except what they got was 50-50, and that is a huge problem. And so right now you have a gorilla that's not thinking straight and just going crazy in this forest. Now, luckily for them, the gorilla has not gone out of its way to attack humans. But at the same time though, if they do attack the gorilla, well, Cygor will kill them then as a way to protect itself. And so now we know that Cygor is on the loose and most likely going to head over towards where Spawn is at. But we do jump over to Spawn. And when we do, he does wake up in some kind of laboratory. Now, when he does wake up in this laboratory, he is confronted by the bad guy of today's storyline, and that would be Curse. Now, we saw Curse in one of our previous videos, but when it comes to Curse, he's actually somebody that believes that he is doing God's work, that God has sent him to Earth to basically get rid of evil things on the earth. Except God never talked to Curse at all. And so for Curse, he believed that he must do these different extreme things to hopefully one day hear God's word, but at the same time get powers from God as well. And so that is why his body is so modified, because he did some extreme things, hoping that sooner or later God would talk to him, but God would also give him powers. Now, the last time we saw Curse got his butt whooped by Spawn. I mean, literally, Spawn whooped Curse's butt like no other. And so we were left to believe that maybe Curse would never come back. But of course, he did come back, because right now he is trying to get revenge against Spawn. Except right now, he is dissecting Spawn to learn more about him. And so Spawn realized that his body parts have been cut up and contained in different containers, because this is Curse saying, I am going to study you, learn more about you. But then once I'm done learning about you, then I'll kill you off. And then I will finally win. But at the same time, when I kill you off and learn everything about you, God will love everything I have to tell him. And then he will finally be happy with me. And really, this ties into more than just doing God's work. That in reality, it's all about the idea that there is going to be a war between good and evil, heaven and hell. And right now, it's Curse saying, I have to study you so that heaven will be able to win that big war when it comes down to it. Because right now, you have both sides trying to build up their forces, spawns, anti-spawns, and the list goes on and on and on. And so with all these new different things coming left and right, it really shows that war is coming very soon between heaven and hell. And only one side can truly win that war. And so when it comes to Curse, he's saying, I'm trying to study you so that I'll be able to help the forces of heaven actually stop hell and defeat hell and send hell packing. And so that is really the main reason why he is dissecting Spawn at the moment. We finally check in with Jason Wynn, and when we do, it's really more the story reminding us that Jason Wynn is the guy who hired Chapel to kill off Al Simmons. Now, originally, we thought that he was the guy who wanted Al dead, but we now know that somebody else had ordered Jason to basically kill off Al Simmons. The question is right now, who? Either way, when it comes to Jason Wynn, he's meeting up with Violator, because these two characters are working together to kill off Spawn, or to hurt Spawn in a different kind of way. And what I mean by that is, to hurt Spawn, why not go after his loved ones? And matter of fact, you have Violator say, hey, Jason, we promised to work together, and I told you to go after these people, because if you do, it'll hurt Spawn a lot. You need to go after Terry. Wanda's grandmother, their daughter, like these people right here, if you are able to hurt them in some kind of way, it hurts Spawn as well. And so you have Jason tell Violator, just give me a little bit more time, and don't worry, your master plan will come together to hurt Spawn. And getting back over to Sorg, really, this section is more of just saying, hey, here are a few pages to show off Sorg, to show you how cool he is. And matter of fact, he might come back again down the road to fight against Spawn. Because in this entire storyline, these two characters do not meet at all. And so really, it's just more of saying Sorg is going to be a major player for a later story down the road. But either way, you do have the town folks of this area still trying to hunt him down. And unfortunately, they're having a hard time doing that. I mean, guys, it's a gorilla that has cybernetic body parts. Even if you do find it, what in the world are you gonna do? It is easily able to kill you guys off quickly. But of course, these guys are all like, we gotta protect our town, so let's find this beast and hopefully shut it down before we all killed off by it. I'm kind of like, dude, y'all are dumb. But when we jump back over to Spawn, this begins the process of wrapping up today's story. Because right now, you have Spawn trying to move the different body parts that were cut off from him. And so while Curse is outside the laboratory, Spawn's kind of like, okay, this is my chance to break free and take down Curse. I have to control the different body parts, which he does. Except when you have Curse walk right back into the laboratory, it's too late. Spawn was able to begin the process of breaking free, which then leads into another battle between these two characters. Now, here's the thing, because when it comes to Curse, the last time he fought against Spawn, Spawn whooped his butt. Like I said, Spawn whooped his butt. And so really, Curse does not stand a chance at all. This is not a fair battle, and Curse knows that, but Curse has a backup plan. He says, listen, I had one thing on my mind, which is to bring you down, but I always said to myself, do not start a war unless you are willing to die for it. And so this is him saying, I am going to die for God's work, to make sure that I am able to at least defeat one Hellspawn. I'll make sure I die along with you. And so right when Spawn is about to kill off Curse, well, Spawn comes to find out that Curse has the entire building rigged to blow up. And right when you think Curse is going to die by the hands of Spawn, well, Curse says, nope, he hits the trigger and the entire building blows up. And so we're left to believe that Spawn is now dead, and so is Curse. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.